The fire began at dawn. From orbit it must have looked beautiful, great streaks of crimson swallowing the green veins of Eristhefour's last living forest. But on the ground, it was hell. Flames climbed like hungry beasts, smoke coiled in black pillars, and the air screamed with the sounds of dying life. The Dominion soldiers didn't look back as they torched the undergrowth. Orders were orders. Cleanse the zone. No survivors. No native contamination. The alien wolves, four-legged, silver-furred predators known as Lycari, had fought for generations to defend their sacred woods. The humans, refugees from a crash-landed colony ship, had taken shelter among them, so they burned everything. The soldiers left, believing their task complete. But deep in the ashes, under the skeletal remains of a great tree, a faint cry broke the silence. A baby. Its tiny voice rose through the choking smoke, fragile but stubborn, like a spark refusing to die. From the edge of the inferno, glowing eyes blinked open. They were three, the last pack of the Lycari. Their fur shimmered with streaks of starlight, and their eyes mirrored twin moons. They had survived plasma fire, shrapnel, and betrayal. Now they watched as the forest, their world, died. The eldest Kor lifted his head when he heard the cry. "A hatchling," he growled in the alien tongue that rippled like wind. The younger one, Vesa, sniffed the air. "Not one of ours." "Human," said the third, Jaru. "The firemakers." They stood in silence for a long moment. The humans had brought machines that ripped soil, weapons that burned sky. The Lycari had lost everything because of them. And yet that sound, the wail of helpless life, cut through the ash and hate like a blade of light. Kor snarled, "We leave it. Their kind brought this fire." But Vesa stepped forward, ears twitching. "Even so, it calls." Without waiting, she darted into the flames. The heat clawed at her fur. The ground cracked beneath her paws, but Vesa ran anyway, guided by the scent of smoke and milk and fear. She found the child half buried beneath the trunk of a fallen lumitree, its bark still glowing faintly with bioluminescent sap. The baby's face was smeared with soot, its eyes wide but unafraid. Vesa hesitated only once before lifting it gently in her jaws, her sharp teeth careful not to break skin. The baby whimpered, then quieted, sensing perhaps that this strange creature meant no harm. By the time she emerged from the burning grove, her fur was blackened, and her breath came in ragged gasps. Kor met her with a growl. "You risked our lives for a human?" "She was alone," Vesa said. "Even prey deserves mercy." Kor glared, but Jaru padded closer, studying the child with wide eyes. "Look, brother. It does not fear us." The baby reached out, tiny fingers brushing Jaru's snout. The great wolf froze, his growl dying in his throat. Kor sighed. "You are fools, both of you." But he could not deny what he saw. The infants I sent, pure, new, untouched by the hatred that had poisoned the stars. "Very well," he said at last. "We keep her, until she can walk." They named her Luma, after the trees that once glowed across their world. Days turned into weeks as the firestorms faded and the forest cooled into gray wasteland. The pack wandered the ruins, hunting what little prey survived. The baby clung to life, fed on warm milk from foraged pods, kept warm under the wolves' fur at night. She grew fast, stronger than any thought possible. Her laughter, light and strange, echoed through the dead woods like a new dawn. Vesa watched. Her learned to crawl, to toddle, to speak the first soft syllables of the Lycari tongue. Kor pretended not to care, though he often brought her the sweetest fruit or the smallest glowing insects to amuse her. Even Jaru, the quiet one, would let her climb onto his back and ride as they patrolled the edge of the wasteland. But peace was fragile. A year later, the Dominion returned. A new commander, more thorough, had learned of a human infant possibly surviving the purge. He ordered a final sweep. The pack saw the ships before they landed, sleek black vessels cutting through the red clouds. Vessa's ears flattened. "They're back." Kor's eyes glowed. "Then we move!" They fled through the ravaged plains, carrying the child in a makeshift sling woven from vines and fur. Behind them the sky burned again. Plasma strikes scorched the earth, hunting anything that moved. They reached the river cliffs by nightfall, the water below black and swift. Across the gorge, freedom, beyond Dominion scanners. But a dropship roared overhead, spotting them. A voice thundered through the speakers. "Unidentified Xeno life forms. Surrender the human asset or be terminated," Vessa growled. "They call her an asset." Kor looked at the baby, sleeping against his chest. He could already see the soldiers dropping from the ship, shadows armed with rifles and hate. He made his choice. "Jaruu, take Vessa and the child." "Go!" "What?" she cried. "Kor, no!" He turned, eyes steady. "I have lost everything worth saving, except her. Go, and let me buy her tomorrow." Before they could stop him, Kor turned and leapt toward the advancing soldiers. Plasma fire lit the night, painting the sky in ghostlight. His roars shook the earth. Vessa ran. She didn't look back. They reached the far side of the river at dawn. The forest there still lived, green, breathing, untouched. Luma woke in Vessa's arms, blinking at the light. "Home," Jaruu whispered, though his voice trembled. Vessa smiled through tears. "Home." They built a den beneath the roots of a great tree and raised Luma as their own. Years passed. She learned to run with the pack, to howl at the twin moons, to hunt with silent feet. She spoke both tongues, human and Laikari. When she was 12, she asked about the burned lands beyond the river. Vessa told her everything. The fire, the soldiers. Kor's sacrifice, Luma's eyes shone like the wolves. "Then I will make it right," she said. And she did. When the Dominion came again, new ships, new masters, they found not a barren wasteland, but a forest reborn, trees taller than towers, wolves that moved like shadows, and among them a young woman with silver hair and eyes like moonlight, leading them. She was human, yes, but also Laikari. The soldiers who came to burn the forest never left it. Not because they were slaughtered, but because they were changed. Luma captured them, healed them, showed them mercy. She taught them the same lesson the wolves had taught her, that life protects life. Soon word spread of a forest that would not burn, guarded by wolves that spoke, and a human who sang to the stars. The Dominion stopped trying to cleanse Eris IV. Instead, they sent envoys. Many years later, when Luma became old and gray, she sat beside Vessa, now ancient and wise, and whispered, "Do you ever regret saving me?" Vessa smiled, baring old teeth. "We did not save you, little one. You saved us." The wind carried her laughter through the forest, mingling with the howls of her children, both human and wolf. Above them, the night sky shimmered with auroras, like the souls of those who had burned now watching in peace. And somewhere beyond the stars, perhaps even Kor smiled, for they had burned the forest once. But from the ashes, love had taken root, and the alien wolves had saved not just a human baby, but the very heart of their world.